Hi there, my name's Philippe Boscher, and on August the 2nd I plan on cycling 100 miles for Save the Rhino International as part of the Prudential Ride London to Surrey 100. This is my week 2 training update video, and admittedly it's beginning to get exhausting. I've cycled 4 times this past week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. Tuesday and Thursday were both 17.86 miles. Friday was 15.3 because Thursday, as well as training, I'd also cycled to and from the gym and to and from an event in the evening, which meant that I cycled over 30 miles that day. I also walked 10 kilometers on Thursday, walked 20 kilometers on Friday, and so Saturday morning my legs were exhausted. It was very, very hard to get to the gym and then fit in the rest of my day around it as well. But then on Sunday, somehow I found some new energy and I broke the 18-mile barrier in my hour and 2 minutes, which I'm very proud of myself for. It was hard and painful and I looked an awful mess at the end of it, but I made it, which is the pace I actually hope to be aiming for during the race itself, during the event itself. 18 miles per hour is a good aim. It's not something I plan on or believe I'll actually achieve, considering the number of people on the road and the number of hills we have to go up, but it's something to aim for, and so to hit it for that first hour, I'm very pleased. And I just wanted to tell you, to remind you why I'm doing this. It's not just a personal, oh look at me, I can cycle a ridiculously stupid distance. I'm doing it for Save the Rhino International, a wonderful charity that works with 18 conservation programs across Africa and Asia, in order to try and bring the rhino back from the edge of extinction. The demand for rhino horn in East Asia, particularly in places like Vietnam, China, is ridiculously high, and it's for, frankly, stupid reasons. It's believed that rhino horn has medicinal purposes. It doesn't. And rhino horn is also seen as a symbol of status. But as Douglas Adams mentions in Last Chance to See, a book I mentioned in my first video, the only symbol that the rhino horn gives is a symbol of the fact that you need such a symbol. And so I just wanted to remind you all that Save the Rhino works as to stop poaching, to prevent poaching, to monitor rhinos, to try and aid captive breeding, to educate people in places like Vietnam about the environmental changes that killing rhinos has, and to try and enforce a behavioural change among the Vietnamese, among the East Asian communities wherein rhino horn is most sought after, and to try and raise awareness as well of what is happening to these wonderful, beautiful creatures. So please head over to uk.virginmoneygiving.com/PA Boscher, that's Bosher, which is my fundraising page, and please give as much as you can to help save these, to save the charity, Save the Rhino. Save the Rhino. It's simple as that. Anyone who donates more than £15, I've offered to do a reading for, do a performance for, and so one such person has asked that I choose a passage from my favourite book and read it to you. So I thought I'd go with the man who brought me here, Douglas Adams, and simply read the first page of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If you want to stop watching now, then thank you very much for watching so far, and I'll see you next week. But for the rest of you, far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun. Orbiting this at a distance of roughly 92 million miles is an utterly insignificant little blue-green planet whose ape-descended life forms are so amazingly primitive that they still think digital watches are a pretty neat idea. This planet has, or rather had, a problem, which was this. Most of the people living on it were unhappy for pretty much of the time. Many solutions were suggested for this, but most of these were largely concerned with the movements of small green piece of paper, which was odd because, on the whole, it wasn't the small green piece of paper which were unhappy. And so the problem remained. Lots of the people were mean, and many of them were miserable, even the ones with digital watches. Many were increasingly of the opinion that they'd all made a big mistake in coming down from the trees in the first place, and some said that even the trees had been in a bad mood and that no one should ever have left the oceans. And then, one Thursday, nearly 2,000 years after one man had been nailed to a tree for saying how nice it would be nice to people for a change, a girl, sitting on her own in a cafe in Rickmansworth, suddenly realised what it was that had been going wrong all this time. And she finally knew how the world could be made a good and happy place. This time it was right, it would work, and no one would have to get nailed to anything. Sadly, however, before she could get to a phone to tell anyone about it, a terrible, stupid catastrophe occurred and the idea was lost forever. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.